Sports have been canceled, but that doesn't change anything for you, you fat piece of shit.
At least they canceled your kids' sports too, so you don't have to disappoint them when you don't show up again. Sports being canceled is very difficult for people who had their whole identity riding on it.
It's always the dude who has a family, but his screensaver is his favorite sports team.
This is the Bengals' new uniform.
Didn't your son just have a birthday?
I don't know, probably.
Jim was always the sports guy of our friend group. Now he's just the drunk guy that swears at his wife in the Zoom chat. He made a documentary about Michael Jordan because there aren't any current sports going on right now.
This week in the series of The Last Dance, what are you hoping to see here?
Yeah, so the thing I'm looking forward to seeing is the Tony Kukoc story. For the younger generation who didn't grow up watching Tony Kukoc the way you and I did, I mean, he is a player who was truly before his time.
Documentaries are just propaganda for the past.
If you want to make me wish I was alive in the 80s, why don't you give me some of that pure cocaine you guys had?
Before your president turned it into crack.
It's the perfect time to pretend that basketball was better back in the day.
It's basically old people going, our basketball player was better because we didn't have cell phones.
I have never heard anything good about Michael Jordan in my entire life besides that he's good at basketball.
I know that he killed his dad and he hates kids so much that he enslaves them to make his shoes.
I hear he handpicks them out of different villages.
Dude, he even tried to reclaim the Hitler mustache.
Which means you can safely say anyone who likes Michael Jordan more than LeBron is a Nazi. UFC fights aren't even happening. That's just two people beating the fuck out of each other.
Like, we don't want your lungs collapsing from a disease. Collapsed lungs are only acceptable from body kicks and right hooks.
I think they stopped the UFC fights because they don't want fighters bleeding into each other's eyes like they usually do.
Fighting would be the easiest sport to pass a disease in, because no other sport are you trying to get your hands as close to your opponent's mouth as possible.
Plus all the open mouth kissing. Sorry, I'm thinking of something else. This year's NFL draft was the most watched draft since Vietnam.
And just like in Vietnam, everyone drafted this year wishes they were born in a different year. The Olympics are postponed. Now where are all these gorgeous 19-year-olds going to fuck each other?
Can you imagine training your whole life for some stupid sport nobody cares about just for the chance to suplex some French high jumper in the pussy at the Olympic Village one day, and then the plague comes and ruins it?
The Olympics isn't about athleticism. It's about nationalism, gambling, and letting the best athletes in the world fuck so the human race becomes stronger.
Nobody cares about the 600-meter dash.
The best triple jumper in history probably coaches high school track now. You're there to bag some superhuman baguette pussy.
Let's just put them all in a room, call it Tokyo, and watch them screw. It's what the Greeks would have wanted.
You ever seen Greece? Even the statues of people doing sports are erotic.
This is the Olympics they meant.
NASCAR driver Kyle Larson got in trouble for saying the N-word during a virtual race.
There's a car on the low side, clear inside. I can see it. You can't hear me? Hey, nigger.
Oh! Oh my gosh!
No way!
Oh!
No way did that just happen. Kyle, you're talking to everyone, bud.
Get with the times. Say something offensive to Chinese people.
Oh, virtual race. I thought you said virtual racism.
That's actually what the N in NASCAR stands for.
NASCAR does also end with a hard R.
NASCAR is doing virtual races now. You don't need professional drivers to play video games.
The NASCAR games suck, though, so they're just playing Twisted Metal and Madden.
I love imagining Kyle Larson playing Twisted Metal, screaming the N-word when he gets killed.
Also, NASCAR's the only sport you can social distance while still competing.
They just know if you start driving something really fast, a bunch of rednecks will gather and get drunk. It's for the fans. You can't stop a bunch of rednecks cheering at an engine.
At least the MLB doesn't have to worry about any teams cheating this year.
I feel bad for all the pitchers in baseball who won't get a chance to hit Astros players in the teeth this season.
Remember when cheating in baseball meant drugs and gambling?
Barry Bonds looked like 50 Cent. Baseball used to be so cool. I'm personally happy I don't have to hear about pointless sports stats all the time.
Now, if we could just figure out how to cancel astrology.
If you miss sports so much, remember you can still do the other half of that, and that's drinking.
Yeah, you can still drink and yell at the TV.
Tune in next week where Eric will say the N-word on our virtual race. Check it out next week. Eric's going to say the N-word just like Kyle Lowry. No, not Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's a basketball player. He can say the N-word. Kyle Larson can't say the N-word.
Can't is wrong because he did say it.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't supposed to. All right, but yeah, next week, Eric saying the N-word. We'll see you then.
Bye.